this presentation, I would like to explain where the term Jesus Christ comes from, what Jesus Christ really means. What is its most original source? It is widely known that the words Jesus and Christ were not the name of a person. It was his title. Much like today, somebody whose occupation is such and such is associated with the name of the occupation. If a person is involved in biology, he is a biologist. Philosophy, he is a philosopher, and so on. Physics, he is a physicist. Again, another example, Albert Einstein is his name. Physicist is his occupation. He's mostly famous for his theory of relativity. So he worked in the field of theory of relativity. He was involved in the study of theory of relativity. He promoted the relativity theory, the teaching of relativity theory. So, just like that, Jesus Christ was the name of the field of study that the person whose name presumably was Emmanuel, which is not so important right now, because looks like there were many teachers in different countries and at different epochs during different times that were involved in that same teaching. The field of Jesus Christ. They were in the field of Jesus Christ. They were promoting, or they were studying the field, the subject of Jesus Christ. And the most famous of them was that person that we know today as Jesus Christ. So again, his name was such and such. Let it be Emmanuel or something similar. But his occupation was studying and teaching Jesus Christ. In 2000 years, when we forget the name Albert Einstein, we will call him relativity theory. So the guy who will look from the guy with his crazy hairstyle and his mustache will be known as relativity theory, and people will think that relativity is his first name, and theory is his last name. Now, let us attempt to understand what the subject matter of the teaching of Jesus Christ is. What does study by name of the study, the theory, the science that is named Jesus Christ? What does this study involve, or what does it actually contain? So it was a profound knowledge. It was obviously a big body of knowledge, so to say, and very important. If gurus like Krishna and Buddha and Emmanuel took the time and the effort to bring to people, to try to bring to people, then they thought it was pretty important for the humanity to know this subject, the subject of Jesus Christ. So what we in order to just even understand, we first must ask ourselves, what can be so important? What can actually be so important in the world, in our reality, that again involves teachers of such high ranks, beings like Emmanuel, known as Jesus Christ, and others, extraordinary beings, to try to convey, try to bring the message to people. What is it that is so important? Is it really just the simple idea that there is God? It had to be more than just that, because the idea of God is not new. It was an attempt to explain that God is actually a system that involves everything. If we just think of God as everything, as all that is, they say all that is, or somebody will say one, we all one, we all one. The key word here is all. We all. Everything. A system. A completeness. A complete being. Fullness. Completeness. Complex completeness, or complete complexity. And I'm playing with these words just to get to show the idea of the fullness, the being full, being completely everything that is. Now that's a little different than just some abstract God. If we say this, here's the difference in terms, difference in terminology. If we say God, we don't understand the word God. We don't. We associate the word God with a supreme being, but we don't really understand the word God. Now, if we, instead of the word God, use the word all, in a sense, everything, all, everything, or the word full, fullness, complete, now that we understand. We understand because that word, well, the word all, for example, that word explains what we're talking about here. That means everything. It involves everything. Any aspect, anything you can think of, anything you can conceive is God, right? Is part of that fullness, part of God. So now that's a little more clear. So now when we say God, we mean all that is, all. I'll try to use this term all a little more often, just so that again we understand what we're talking about, what we mean when we say God. What we mean all, everything, fullness. That includes us and every 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 speck, every little photon, neutron, proton, and 22 types of elementary particles, everything. Now, from this point of view, that is an important teaching by itself. Right there is important when you understand the consequences of that. That all is a system, all is one supreme being, and it's a complex system. It's a harmonic system that where nothing is perchance, let's say, where it's everything is connected, everything has its place, everything has its purpose. Now that by itself is profound knowledge. Now that is something worth telling the people. When people worry about trifles, the little things, and or they think that something is out of their control and something's happening because of their bad luck and so on and so forth, if they just understand the concept of all, they will change their perspective. They eventually will get the idea that all is working in unison, so to say. It's working harmonically, and nothing happens because of bad luck or something exists for no reason. Something happens for no reason. That right there is the eliminates all these silly questions about if something happens for no reason. It's not. Everything works as one. Everything works as a system. Divine system, godly system. Supreme, wonderful, again, complete. It's a more important, complete system. So that system looks like is called or has been called throughout the history uh, by different names. Of course, I just gave several examples, several different names for that system, right? Everything that is God, complete, fullness, so on and so forth. So these are words we understand today. But there are other words that have been used throughout the history to indicate this phenomenon, which is all that is, the phenomenon of Supreme Being, the phenomenon of God, phenomenon of all, phenomenon of this system. One of these terms that is very popular, has been very popular, and is still very popular, is the term Father. Father. Of course, we associate it with the father, with the parent, with the parent. It has the somewhat narrow meaning of a parent. Then it has wider meanings of some of a creator, right? Say the parent of some science, right? Like Richard Bandler is the parent of the father. Richard Bandler is the founding father of NLP, for example, right? The founding fathers would say. I mean, they're not actual fathers, not birthers, right? They are creators. So the word father is associated with the word creator, and ultimately with the word all, with the word God, right? So when today in church they say Father, what they actually mean is that this supreme being, this system, the reason I'm saying this, I mean, it may look pretty trivial, but this is very important for understanding the term Jesus Christ and what it means. And what it means is very, very general, very, very general scientific terms. Today, I'm kind of just going ahead of myself, but Jesus Christ, scientific terms. You can say these are terms of physics, pretty much physics, science. Terms of science is just they slightly changed today, and the words changed, and we don't understand those words. We only know the narrow meaning. But just like with the word father, there is a narrow meaning of a parent, of a birther, and then there is a senior meaning, in general, a broad meaning of creator. Well, the same is with the words Jesus Christ. I guess just again going ahead of myself, I will say that the word, the Father, the word Christ is actually just another name, as changed, mutated, unrecognizable version of the word Father. I'll try to rephrase this. The word Christ, or the term Christ, means the same as in English what in English means father in a broad sense, meaning creator. Well, you can kind of see that the word Christ and the word creator are somewhat, they sound somewhat similar. It's not a coincidental similarity. It is because the word father literally literally means Christ, or let's say the word Christ originally means Father in that exact sense of all of in the sense, in the broad sense of supreme being, all, fullness, complete, God, creator, other words and terms. Now that we have discovered part of this teaching, right? The part of Christ, that it's the teaching of all, teaching about, it's the study of the teaching, the science of all, science of creator, science, the study of system, the teaching about the system, about the full complete system. Today we would call it something like the system of nature, right? I mean, we substitute the word all, we substitute the word creator by the word creation, by the word nature. These are, I mean, these are almost euphemisms for the word God, for the word creator. So instead of creator, we say creation. Um, Instead of the word system, we say the word nature. We mean the same thing, we just use different terms for that. This is a system around us, and we call it ecology or reality or something else, right? Some words that we barely understand, instead of just a simple term system, because system means everything's in place, everything does what it's supposed to do, everything works in harmony, in perfect order. Very important word, order, and I will come back to that word. Everything works in order, everything happens in order of things, and so on and so forth. So the teaching of order, right? The teaching of system, the teaching of the supreme all including, right? The all inclusive, the all inclusive system. So that's the teaching, right? It's Christ, teaching of Christ. Christ here means the all inclusive system. Another word is Father. Teaching us Father, right? Father, founding Father, creator. Creator slash creation slash father slash parent, right? Slash. So all these terms pretty much mean the same. What I just said, right? God, creator, all, system. I like the word system because it's very descriptive. System. Okay, so we got that part. Now, where does the word Jesus come from? What does Jesus mean? Again, from history, we remember how he is called Son of God, right? Or Son of the Father. We remember Son of Father. uh, throughout the whole Bible and Christian religion. It's all that Father, Father, Son, Father, Son, that He is the only Son, Son of the Father, Son of God. He is the Son, He is the Father, and His Father is God, right? And we we uh, hear it so often and for so long that we don't don't understand that these are just pretty much uh, terminology, just slightly changed terminology, which we stop to understand because, again, because it's used in different fields, so to say. It's used for different purposes, and we stop to understand what it means. But in fact, like I already said, Father and God, in this sense, these are synonyms. Father and God are synonyms, and they just mean the system. So okay, so what? So this the main character of the Bible is the son of the system, son of all that is. Well, we all kind of sons of all that is, right? We're all sons of that system. So it is somewhat logical to again to admit to suggest that by the word son, what was originally meant by this word is the idea of a part, being a part of the system. Now that makes a little bit of sense. The main character of the Christian Bible, Emmanuel, was actually bringing the very profound, very important scientific knowledge of how the let's say the reality, right, or how the all that is, how the the world, right, the nature, again I'm using the euphemism, the all, how the all is built. And the way it's built is that there's a system and there are parts of the system. And then there is a certain interaction between these two main parts of the system, right? So what we have is a full complete system and parts of the system. Now that is worth talking about because this is a solid scientific knowledge. It's not just a philosophical idea of, oh yeah, well, there's all and then there's a part of all. Not really, because if we're really looking into the matter, we'll see that this is a basic a basic structure of reality. Really, this is what surrounds us on all levels. That's not just, it doesn't just surround us. This is what everything is made of.